Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Mai, and today's video is going to be this beautiful little 1910s craftsman home, which I have been kind of wanting to make for a while, but I didn't really know what the style I was looking for was. But then I got a video on Instagram of someone that was renovating their parents' 1910s craftsman home, and I was like, oh my god, that's exactly the house that I've been wanting to build for a while. So that way I was actually able to look up some more inspiration to really get familiar with the concept, and I feel like the vision came together really easily, really quickly. So I had to get a little bit creative with the roofing because the second floor is kind of like inside the roof, so I had to divide the pieces up very much because if not, everything just kind of clips into each other. So yeah, it was kind of tedious to do that, but I think that it looks really great. And the color scheme was also very much on my mind. I knew exactly what I wanted. In the interior though, I did have a little bit of trouble executing it, but I figure it out slowly but surely. And something that I definitely wanted was that kind of Tudor stucco paneling on the top part of the house, and then on the bottom I used these shingles from Growing Together that match the columns, and I'm really happy with the result. I'm not like a huge fan of modern craftsman homes, but these older ones are just so stunning, and I'd love to be able to afford one at some point in the future. And also, now that I'm actually familiar with this style, and now that I know that it's called like a 1910s craftsman, I actually have another home that is kind of in this style that I think I called like Dark Little Blue that I made a while ago that is almost like this style but a little bit more renovated. And yeah, I'm like very surprised. I'm like, oh, I've kind of made something like this before already, and now I actually know what it's called. But the floor plan was also really easy to do. I kind of had a little bit, like a few reference photos from Pinterest, so I kind of knew what the layout would be, and I'm really happy with it. I think that it came together really nicely, and it flows really nicely as well, and it looks almost like super realistic, which sounds a little bit redundant when I say almost super realistic, but no, it is pretty realistic, I think. Although if you are familiar with these homes like more than I am, I'd love to hear what you think, if you think that it actually is, you know, kind of like a real life one, or if I kind of missed in a few places. But yeah, it was also really fun to use these windows from Get Together because I feel like I haven't used them in a really long time, or at least I don't get to use them super often. And there were also these window boxes from Get Famous that had the perfect matching swatch, which was also just a relief, I think. And I actually paired them with the shutters from the Horse Ranch expansion pack. So yeah, there's a bit of a jumble of packs, but they all work together really nicely. And actually, now that I've got you guys, I want to let you know that I'm actually starting a new job this week, and hopefully all goes well. But yeah, I'm starting a new job this week, so just in the future there may be a few maybe missed videos or delayed videos just until I kind of get the hang of everything. I'm hoping to keep up with the regular schedule, but of course I don't really know what's going to happen, but I do want to keep making videos, and I am going to do my best to keep up with our current schedule and everything, all of your comments, which I just want to say like huge thank you to all of you guys for your support and all of your kind words lately. I'm you know, I feel very loved, and you know, it's just really great, and I appreciate the encouragement. So thank you all for being here, and I hope to keep building throughout this new job, and hopefully there aren't too many missed videos in the future. So thank you. And anyways, we are working on the interior now, and like I said before, I struggled a little bit with the swatches because I knew that I wanted this kind of lighter orangey wood on the flooring, but I was kind of struggling to find a wallpaper that matched. And to be honest, I don't think that the wallpaper that I choose matches perfectly, but I think that I do make it work because I just end up doing a huge jumbly mix of like woods and browns and oranges. So I think in the end it just kind of all works out and feels like way more natural and like homey, and just like maybe just more realistic because it's not all like perfectly manufactured. So yeah, I do though change the columns inside that like originally they matched the outside columns, but I decided to change them a little bit so they were a little bit softer and matched more of the indoor woods. And over here in the kitchen, I was stumped originally because there was no good place for the stove against the wall. So I tried changing the windows, but I do end up finding like a little bit of a trick to do it, or I just kind of, I don't know, the layout does get a little bit complicated, and it kind of leads me though to do something really cool with the door, which I'm actually super happy about. You know, it's kind of those things where if you, I don't know, you least expect it, it's something turns out like a little bit of a challenge, but then you end up creating something way better, which is pretty much just an analogy for life. You know, life throws curveballs, but then you always end up where you're supposed to be, and maybe you end up somewhere even better than what you had originally planned. So that is my Sunday motivation for the Sunday Scaries. And yeah, here is where we're kind of figuring out the kitchen. I really love that little breakfast nook that I put off to the side. And also I managed to fit in a little laundry room. And as you can see, that island that I placed, which is where I'm going to place the stove, is actually kind of blocking that doorway to the dining room. So that's where I'm going to get creative later. But yeah, I use the separate stove and oven pieces from the Dream Home Decorator game pack, from the Dream Home Decorator game pack. And yeah, that was kind of like my perfect solution to this. And then here is where I kind of end up creating this really weird combination. But yeah, I'm gonna place some bar stools first, and you'll see I end up placing an archway, and I use just like walls to place a door and then kind of angle it so that it looks like it's open. And I do this all with base game items, so if you don't have any expansions, you can easily do this with your own, like with just the base game. And yeah, right now I'm using the wrong archway, but I do end up changing it and figuring it out, and it ends up looking really cool. I actually haven't play tested this, but hopefully everything works fine in this house. Obviously it doesn't look perfect, but it does look good, and I'm pretty proud of it. You know, we work with what we've got, and because that kind of edge was looking a little bit weird, I originally placed this like kind of brown shelf that is supposed to be like a curtain rod from, I think, the Desert Luxe kit or something, but it doesn't really look ideal, so I do end up changing it, and now I'm just adding a couple of little details around the kitchen, a little bit of a range hood. And this is where in my head I kind of remember that some of these older houses have kind of windows on top of their doorways or archways. And I tried this out with these windows from Growing Together, and I overlap them, and it actually looks really cool. So I end up placing it over this other archway that I decide to place between the living room and the dining room, and I'm actually obsessed. Like, I end up adding even more of this over into this hallway that leads us to our first bedroom, and it looks amazing. Again, I actually haven't play tested this, so I'm hoping that it works. If it doesn't, I'd be really sad, like, to remove it. But you know what? Sometimes there are sacrifices that we make, like not being able to actually move around the house. But hey, if you use this with spellcasters, they can teleport around, and then you don't actually need the doorways, and we can leave them for aesthetics. I really, most of the things that I do are for the aesthetics, and yeah, just placing an apron and coming back to decorate the kitchen a little bit because I did get a tiny bit distracted with all of these doorways. And above the garbage can here, I'm placing a little bit of an art piece. I originally go with this one from base game, but it just didn't look right, so I do end up changing it to one that has a little bit more of an ornate frame, which I felt like fit the style more. And there you had seen me like place the map photo or something, the painting, but I keep trying to find places for it and I struggle. I do find a place for it, but it's funny because you see me like move it to a bunch of different walls just throughout the entire build, so it is kind of a little bit silly. But here in the dining room, we have a very spacious area, but I didn't really want to use the whole place for just a table, so I do also place a piano, and this room ends up being probably one of my favorite rooms in the house. I think it perfectly fit the vision, and really when I was imagining this house, the main kind of area that I had in my head was the dining room for some reason. I don't really know why. I feel like that rarely happens, but yeah, I love that it turned out exactly the way that I wanted, and I really love this little gallery wall of yeah, just this gallery wall that I think is from Dine Out potentially, but it looks really cool and I really like it. And then above the piano, I actually placed an item from Lovestruck, which is this other gallery wall that is called like Photos from Grandparents' House or something, that, yeah, just looks really nice and kind of also matches that like little vintage vibe. There you see me moving that map photo yet again, or painting I should say. And over here in this kind of little sunroom, also kind of an entryway area, I place a bookshelf and I place some ottomans just to kind of create a little reading nook. I feel like I could have turned this into more of a sunroom, but I decided to kind of just turn it into an extra little functional area. Yeah, I don't really know what it is. It's a bit of a limbo room, but I think it looks nice, and it's kind of like a bit more of I don't know, a casual entryway. I don't know, maybe it's the opposite, but it is an interesting space. And over here, I'm just kind of trying to add a little bit of clutter, but I also don't want it to be too overpowering. So I just put a little vase on top of that little hutch, the little corner hutch from Cats and Dogs, I think. And yeah, that looks really nice up there. And here's where I'm kind of finalizing the placement of the door, because I didn't really figure it out yet, because I wanted to know what the actual like layout of the room was going to be. There you can see me move the map yet again. And yeah, we're starting off with this little, I'm gonna say couch love seat. I didn't know what word was gonna come out of my mouth, but we are going to start off with this couch from Growing Together. And originally I was pairing it with this love seat from Base Game, but I do end up changing it to the love seat from Crystal Creations, and you will see why. And I do also place that armchair from Discovery University, so again, a bit of a jumble of packs, but I really wanted to bring some more blue in like I had done in the dining room, just to kind of get it to flow a little bit more and kind of match in a way. And I end up placing the same rug that I placed in the dining room, but later on in post-production I actually changed the swatch to one that's kind of the same, but instead of it being so much like, instead of it being so blue, it's like also more tan. Anyways, you'll see it in the screenshots, but I think that it looks a little bit better. And here we are trying to place a hallway table behind the love seat, because I didn't like this giant gap, but I also didn't want it to be right up against the wall. And this is where I end up switching the love seat to the one from Crystal Creations, because this love seat actually covered up the hallway table a little bit better. So let me know if you're happy with that change, or if you would have gone with the other one. Honestly, I think I'm pretty happy either way, but I like being able to place the hallway table and having it work nicely. And yeah, just going to place a Base Game painting behind this. I really wanted to have a lot of like that French country style, so every so often when I didn't really know what to place, I would just kind of filter the items to be in the French country style, so that I could, I don't know, sift through that and see what, like, which item kind of called out to me. And yeah, just creating more of an entryway area there. Over here I just place a couple of these picture frames and put a little ottoman, and I do actually end up placing that ottoman next to the coat rack as well. So yeah, just trying to make it feel a little bit more filled in, a little bit more like an entryway. And now we're going to be working on our first bedroom downstairs, which is going to be for a teenager. So yeah, I thought about making this the primary bedroom, but I kind of just felt like maybe a teenager would really like to have this kind of like, I don't know, private part of the house, or kind of a little bit more independent. So yeah, if they want to like sneak out, or if they want to just like go out with their friends, come back late. They could also be a young adult already, so they're like in university or something, but they still live at home. I feel like that could work. You could also rent this room out. You could also make it, I don't know, for a grandparent or something. But I just wanted this room to maybe be not the primary bedroom, but just, I don't know, someone who needed a little bit more independence. So yeah, they do share the main bathroom, that it's kind of like a Jack and Jill with the kitchen, and the upstairs rooms each have their own ensuite as well. So it is kind of nice that each room has their own private bathroom, although I think that in real life, so like realistically, these older homes would probably only have one bathroom in the entire house. I feel like older homes just generally didn't have that many bathrooms, but maybe this one's a little bit more renovated, or I don't know, maybe these people just really liked bathrooms when they built the house, and I don't know, now the new owners just got lucky. And I really love this little desk nook that I made. I really wanted to give this bedroom a bit of a farmhouse feel. I don't know why, it just kind of felt right. I don't know if the person that is in this room really likes the farmhouse vibe, or if the entire family is very into farmhouse, but I don't know, something about it just felt right, and it just felt a little bit vintagey, and it felt a little bit rustic, and I don't know, just really fit the vibe that I was going for. And I really love, I think, just the animal print chair that I used. I think that also just really, I don't know, it works for this build. Also because I went with that black and white bed, so having the cow print just makes sense. And above this little chair, I end up placing this little plant lamp, which looks really cute. And in the bathroom, which I actually only furnish in post-production, I furnish all the bathrooms in post-production. In the bathroom, I place a couple of wall plants. So I have seen in real life people that place plants in their bathroom so that when they shower, when they take a bath, the humidity kind of waters the plants. And I thought that was really cool. So I felt like that was a really good way, I don't know, to maybe like they just really like plants, and I don't know, maybe they're into like the environment and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm trying to think of some kind of personality reason as to why the furnishings are what they are. But yeah, it's also a really good way to actually take away some of the humidity. So if a room doesn't have windows, or if it doesn't have a fan, having some plants in that room could actually really like keep the humidity down, because they just absorb the humidity and then it keeps the mold away. And now we're working on the upstairs, and we're working on this kid's bedroom, which I designed to just, I don't know, it has 2 beds. I designed it for 2 children, and maybe they're twins, maybe they're just close in age, but I imagine them as being really creative and really playful. And they're where I place the wardrobe. In post-production, what I actually end up doing is I move the wardrobe over a little bit, and then I place that weird giraffe, I was going to say guitar, the weird giraffe structure next to it, and then I hang a towel off of it, which there's like this towel item from Spa Day or something, and I just kind of, I don't know, I alt placed it on top of the giraffe, and it looks really cool. And if you stay for the screenshots, you will get to see that. And yeah, I'm just like a fan, and I feel like I'm probably gonna do it again. And actually, oh wow, I didn't realize that the like height chart that I added in the play area it has a giraffe on it. I actually didn't notice that. And the other, oh wow, maybe there's a giraffe theme and I didn't even notice it. That's so cool. But yeah, I'm just kind of cluttering it up, adding some toys and just making it feel really, really playful. I didn't want it to feel like one of those just sad beige baby, bedrooms. I really wanted it to have a lot of joy and a lot of life, and also just like a good mix of colors. I didn't want it to be overly colorful, but just like tastefully. So I do add a lot of blue and a lot of orange, just to kind of contrast each other. And I really love those little poofs that I put next to the beds. I feel like, I mean, in my head, they're like storage poofs. So inside, maybe the kids keep their favorite stuffies, and there's one on either side, so they'll have like their own. And now we're working on the primary bedroom, and I decided to go with a green theme in here just because. And I guess I went with farmhouse in every room, so I guess it's just the way that the family likes things. And I think this room feels really cozy, and the green just gives it a lot of life, because I don't know, to me green equals plants, and plants equals life. So green rooms feel very alive to me, and very serene. And in their little wardrobe corner, I mean, I made it a wardrobe corner for both of the bedrooms because it just made sense. It just looks perfect for one. I also placed those shelves that I rarely use because they're not actually like functional as wardrobes. But oh yeah, and they have like the same clutter on the top shelf, so it does look a little bit funky, but I just had to go with it, and I think it looks really nice. And yeah, just placing some photos around, some little like those photo frames from growing together, because this is a family house and you're gonna want family photos around. And I also place the little gallery wall that I had also placed in the dining room. I placed it above the desk because it fit perfectly and it looked really nice. And yeah, I didn't clutter it up too much. Like, I didn't fill the room up with activities or anything. I don't really know what the parents do, so I just decided to make it like a little bit of a generic office area. So you can just kind of mold it to whatever it is that your Sims do. So if you do want to download it from the gallery, you can just, you can just add your own little personal touches to make it look very, or I guess, yeah, to just fit your family. And here in the hallway, I wanted to place some art. There's not much room for anything up here, so thought about doing a gallery wall just to give it a little bit of dimension, a little bit, I don't know, make it a little bit more interesting, but I was kind of struggling, so I just decided to size that one up and place a couple of shelves, and then I just kind of anchor it with a rug and with a couple of plants from Cottage Living, which look really nice. There's not really any light coming into it, so I don't know how those plants are growing, but we're just going to ignore that and focus on our screenshots. I did do the exterior kind of landscaping and stuff off camera because I did it later, like after I built this, because I did not want to do a lot of landscaping, which is actually why I chose this lot to begin with, because it's just on a boardwalk, so I wouldn't have to do a lot of landscaping. So yeah, I just did it off camera, and if you want to download it on the gallery, you'll get to see all that. But here we have our living room. I cluttered it up a little bit. I added some pillows on the chairs. There you can see that ottoman that I mentioned before. But yeah, just made it feel a little bit more lived in. Added a couple of extra details. And here we have our little kind of sunroom, entryway, reading nook, awkward space, miscellaneous hallway thing. Yeah, that is actually the official name for this kind of room. My sister's an interior architect, so I know that kind of stuff. And here we have our perfect dining room, my favorite room in the entire house. And I am actually curious to know if you guys agree if this is the best room in the house, or what is the best room in the house. Let me know in the comments because I'd love to hear it. And yeah, I just love the way that all of the woods kind of like mix and match and kind of complement each other. And here we have our kitchen. Also, if you have heard my dogs in the background throughout this entire video, or if you probably hear them right now because I'm kind of hearing them through my headphones, I apologize. They are feeling very clingy today. It's a very warm day, which causes them to feel a little bit stressed, so that makes them more clingy. And here we have our downstairs bathroom with those plants that I mentioned. And yeah, it just looks really nice. Here we have our laundry room. Also, the bathrooms upstairs, they kind of look exactly the same as the downstairs bathroom. They just have a shower and a tub combo instead of just the tub. But here we have our teens room. I don't actually think I changed anything in here. It just already looks perfect, so I didn't change it. Yeah, also I added a lot of details while we were filming, so there was really no need to change it much. And here we have our upstairs hallway and our kids' room. I really love this room. I think it turned out really sweet. There you can see the giraffe with the towel on it. That looks cool. And I also put a stool under that. That also pretty neat if you ask me. But I am a little biased, so don't ask me. But anyways, I just really like all of the little details that I added. And now we're going to see the primary bedroom, which I also don't think I changed anything about this. I really did want to keep it pretty simple, not because I didn't want to add more details, but just because I don't know, I just felt like it needed to be a little simpler. But that is going to bring us to our last screenshot of the video, which I hope that you guys enjoyed this build as much as I did. Bye buds, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos, comment and share with your friends. Talk to y'all soon. Bye!